Okay, let's address the reason our girl is hiding behind the camera and why this is probably associated with the fact that she got a past degree in her master's. I know it might not have like a logical and very visible explanation at first, but I will put in context why it matters. So the number one fact, what we already know that is happening, is that she's hiding. As you can see on her last videos, she has been hiding her face during her commentaries, she has not made any live streams, and she is constantly deleting videos where that she thinks might play against her in the future. But the main question here is, why is she doing this? I think we can all agree that Miss Sara Lomzynska is a big part of the hater community, and she has made a lot of money from Amberly, and as you might imagine, knowing our girl doesn't refrain from posting every single accomplishment she makes in her life, she even posted once she was the youngest in her family to be a landowner. While I do feel really happy for her, that is something I wish I have accomplished by now, I can only say a few things. I find it quite problematic that someone who has made their way to the top laughing their ass off about some sick cancerous woman on the internet can go on and teach others how to organize their lives and how to be a bad bitch themselves. Because you know you've made your channel on YouTube in expenses of the health of someone else, and of course of their own mistakes too, but obviously you've also monetized everything you've constantly raging against. Now, okay, let's say you do not want to be this internet famous person. As you've already stated, this is something you see as a job, only like a side hustle. At the same time, you seem to take it pretty seriously, at least on my perspective. And why do I think you take it seriously? Because no one with a strong and solid life outside of YouTube would ever jeopardize their opportunities by making statements full of lies and rage and misinformation. Sarah has said time and time again that she used to work as a part-time teacher for children with behavioral and neurological problems. And as you might have read around Reddit or Kiwi Farms, she also said that she worked part-time in retail, volunteering at in 3 different organizations, and going back and forth in UK and to get her master's in clinical neuropsychiatry on the year to come. Now, people have tried to prove that she wasn't any of those things, not only to make her life more difficult, because I don't think this is the goal, not for all of them at least, but to open the eyes of those who think that just existing is not enough, and to actually show people the kind of liar she is. So Sarah, I mean, just stop trying to prove that not having time to take care of your mental health is actually the way out. It's not how being a bad bitch is accomplished. This is by far the worst advice I've seen a therapist give. And for the second fact, I want to ask you guys, do you agree that she knows we know she lied? I mean, to put it in a little more context, she has posted her Master of Science degree diploma or whatever it is on her Instagram page once. And while I think the degree of effort you put on your studying does not always reflect in a linear relation the result you're going to get, she has to assume that people will realize that she by no means was the most educated immigrant woman she has claimed her whole career. While it is no reason to be ashamed of, since having a degree itself is already a very good thing, here is a few things to consider. So in most countries, on your degree, you will either have a degree or you will not have a degree. I mean, you will either be a professional or you will not have approved enough of the course to be able to pursue the degree. In UK, however, things are a little different. You not only get to be recognized by having accomplished the diploma, but also you will always carry on it the weight of the grades you had while trying to get this degree. In Sarah's case, she had a pass. And what does it mean? The British undergraduate degree classification system is a grading structure, for those who are pursuing an undergraduate degree or bachelor's degree and integrated master's degree in the United Kingdom. In university, we always think that we will enter and keep maintaining this 100% achievement grade we had at high school, which is stupid, but in some cases achievable. Most of us will never be able to pass the 70% achievement degree. Of course we are not. And from what I've looked up, it represents about 75% of all of the students. I mean, to get a 70% degree, you have to work really hard, okay? But at the same time, 75% of the students manage to do that. In your first year at university, achieving a good grade is a good thing. You know, like if you actually achieve more than 50%, it's actually very nice. You can build on your work and improve as you work towards your final degree. And scores above 70% are classified as first, at least in the UK, as I've researched. So you should be very excited to get a grade in that range. However, here's the thing. Our girl Sara has claimed time and time again and compared herself to so many intellectual people that have PhDs and many other classifications and degrees and many more years of knowledge than her, while she herself cannot work her way up to the lower second-class honors degree. Getting a pass means our girl did not achieve a 50% of the grades she was supposed to. Of course, she has a degree, so good for her, I guess. But that is a clear reflection of her horrible application of the psychology training she obtained in such a good and prestigious, by the way, university. On the other hand, Sara has claimed that she was offered a medical school vacancy in Queen Mary's Medical School once. Can you imagine? And also she was offered a PhD there and couldn't afford it. Reason why she denied both of them and went on full housewife mission. So, well, I saw someone asking her if she did or did not go to medical school in her comments, to which someone else replied that she never got into medical school, but she had an online master's with a passing grade, which is true and also cool, you know, great topic to study. The only problem, the issue I have, is that she went on and on how she studied Alzheimer's and autism and how people were trying to discredit her education because it doesn't fit their idea of a traditional 8-year medical USA school. Sara, of course, it doesn't fit our idea of a 8-year medical school in the United States because you were not going to medical school at all. It was a lie. You know, if you go to Africa or to Brazil or to Australia or to Chile or to Argentina or the United States or to Canada or to Greenland or Ireland or Russia, Poland, whatever, whenever, wherever, you will ask any 6-year-old kid what is a medical school, and he will say this is a school that teaches you how to be a doctor, how to be medical, how to be a physician, how to be someone that uses their hands and tools and laboratory resources and something hanging over their necks to treat their diseases. It's simple, it's easy to know, it's no secret. You can't say you go to medical school and then expect people to think you're going to psychology school, even if it's, I don't know, the same department maybe, the same building or the same school. It might even be associated with the medical school name. I don't know how it works up there. But I guess maybe this could be something to consider when you're wondering why people keep on asking. The thing is, when you mention you are in medical school, which you did a lot of times, we picture you as medicine professional, not a mental health professional, not a therapist, not an assistant therapist, which I pretty much assume you are, not an assistant teacher, not a bodybuilder influencer. We picture you as a doctor. It is not difficult to understand why people would get mad and confused by that. We have a lot of statements of people on Reddit and QFM saying they were your supporters and they realized they were feeling overwhelmed by the sensation of never being enough because someone they supported and looked after was always doing much, much more. And they felt like they were not doing enough. Now, for as much as it is difficult to get a degree in psychology, I can only imagine that getting a degree in medicine was way more difficult. Of course, it differs from person to person, and it's not a fact of being a more important degree or a less important degree, but for their relevance on the person's health. You can't say otherwise. It's not a mean of importance, but a mean of relevance for keeping someone alive, Now, I want you, listener, to picture someone you know and love suffering from a chronic or a very severe disease such as depression or anxiety or narcissistic personality disorder or drug and food addiction. The person needs to find a therapist that will give them the opportunity to trust them and be comfortable around them to speak their truths. They will sit their arses on the couch of the therapist and realize that they are coming from a non-judgmental perspective, regardless of what the patient is saying. They are not seeking to judge or to be harsh. They are simply listening and giving ways for the person and the patient to find the better ways out of their disorder. Most of all, they will know that their therapist is someone who will not be judgmental, not only in front of them, but also when they turn their back on their daily activities. Imagine this person you love suffering from something like those that I've mentioned, and then they will probably go on the internet and find that their therapist is mocking a sick and morbidly obese woman and laughing their ass off in expenses of their looks in front of her 83,000 subscribers, for example. Well, imagine if the same obese woman is someone going through a very hard time with drugs, an abusive relationship inside her own home. Imagine if the therapist goes on and laughs at an obese woman that just recently got diagnosed and survived cancer, uterus cancer. Imagine this person that has cancer and clearly self-neglect attitudes, but also tries to better themselves, constantly being blamed and thrown in their faces that their old and severely sick dog is going to die because of them. Imagine the same person being mocked off because she doesn't have many friends around. Go back. Go back in the back of your mind and put yourself in your loved one's shoe. Would you really send them to be treated with a therapist like this? I think she has to make a really good effort to up her grades and make her image appear better. A few strategies that I can acknowledge she is already doing is like deleting her old YouTube videos and photos that are like compromising her, and at the same time, while she does not address and says sorry for those attitudes, I don't see why we as a community shouldn't address it. I think it's more than our obligation to make sure less people are affected by her and to make it visible, because a person that lies, mocks sick people, and is constantly gaslighting her audience shouldn't have a place on this platform. Not only on this platform, she shouldn't have a place sitting in front of a patient. She's clearly not prepared to. Thank God she's not a registered therapist or assistant therapist in the UK. But still, no one can make sure she's not making money by giving advice, especially for those people that see her as the bad bitch she portrays to be. You know, she ain't prepared judging by her grades, but most importantly, by her attitude. If you tell people you are a landowner now because you've spent years mocking an obese, cancerous woman, I think you should be able to address your own issues. Otherwise, for me, it's definitely not enough. But go on hiding. Someday you will probably see that you had a lot of talent hidden and a lot of people supporting you And I can only assume you will always have gullible people because they are everywhere. And you will realize it's never too late to apologize and make things right. I do think you are talented, Sara, in a lot of ways. You have a very nice voice, a very beautiful body, and an easy way to communicate with your public. It should not be hard to make a turn around your audience and grow it again. It shouldn't be difficult. It shouldn't be impossible. There is, however, not much we can do but wait until the day you recognize you were wrong in a lot of your statements and just pray no more people gets damaged by them. In summary, I can only assume that she is not displaying her face anymore because she has doxed herself already by flexing on her stupid lies and is realizing YouTube won't give her the magic life she so desperately wants to have and to be around. It will not be around forever, and she needs someone to help her and disvinculate her image from this platform, because all of the material that we have will someday obviously come out to her future employers, and this will actually follow her, and she's obviously very aware of this. Imagine when someone speaks about the fact that this girl has claimed on a live stream that she smokes a lot of marijuana and she says there's nothing wrong with this. Well, just imagine being a part of the psychology and the therapist community and hearing stuff like this. Well, I guess this is it for today. I have no other statements left. And on the next video, I will discuss Sara's scandal regarding to her stealing people's art and also stealing people's money indirectly by promising content and not delivering it. Something she has already condemned when done by Miss Amberling Reid. Well, let's just sit and wait. Go on and take your medication. I'll shut up.